Okay, I know this one gets loud fast. If you've ever stared at your phone, watched the screen light up, felt your heart jump, and then immediately sink, this episode is for you, my dear. Because text message overthinking isn't about being dramatic. It isn't about needing attention, and it definitely isn't about being immature. It's about what happens when limerence meets uncertainty inside a tiny, glowing rectangle that your nervous system quietly treats like a lifeline. Before we even get into the stages, I want to name something important. This experience doesn't start with the phone just reveals it. Texting becomes the stage where a much older pattern gets to play out in real time. So let's slow this way down together, honey. Not to fix anything, just to understand what's actually happening. Why texting becomes so charged in limerence. Text messages are small, fast, and ambiguous. They arrive without warning. They disappear just as quickly. And they carry no tone of voice, no facial cues, no context. For a limerent nervous system, that ambiguity is unbearable. Your brain wants resolution. Your body wants safety. Texting offers neither of those consistently. So your system compensates by filling in the gaps. That's where overthinking begins. Now, let's walk through the 7 stages. Stage 1, the initial ping. It starts before your thoughts even form. A vibration, a sound, a name on your screen. Your body reacts instantly. Heart rate jumps, breath gets shallower, your attention snaps into focus. You haven't read a single word yet, but your nervous system is already awake and alert. This is anticipation, not excitement exactly, not fear yet either, just activation. Your body has learned that this person matters emotionally, so it prepares itself automatically without consulting your logic. That's why this stage feels sudden. Your body moves faster than your mind. Stage 2, reading for tone. You open the message, and immediately your brain gets busy. You don't just read what they said. You start to read how they said it. Tone, word choice, message length, punctuation. You notice things you wish you didn't notice. Was that shorter than usual? Did they sound warmer yesterday? Why didn't they use an emoji this time? Your nervous system scans for meaning because meaning equals safety. This isn't you being dramatic. This is pattern detection. Your brain is trying to answer one quiet but urgent question. Am I still okay here? Stage 3, the interpretation spiral. Now the spiral begins. They didn't ask a question back. They replied faster yesterday. They used a period instead of an exclamation point. Your mind connects dots that may not actually belong together. And suddenly, you're no longer responding to the message itself. You're responding to a story about interest or disinterest or emotional distance or rejection. The story feels real because your body believes it. Once your nervous system commits to a story, logic doesn't stand much of a chance. This is usually where shame creeps in. You start thinking you should stop, that you're reading too much into it, that something is wrong with you. But honey, this isn't a flaw. It's a system trying to reduce uncertainty. Why your brain prefers a story to uncertainty. Here's something most people don't realize. The brain would rather believe a painful story than sit with the discomfort of not knowing. Not knowing feels like danger. So when information is incomplete, your mind fills in the gaps. Even if what it fills it with hurts, it signals completion. That's why interpretations often lean negative. Not because you're pessimistic, but because certainty feels safer than hope that might collapse. Your nervous system isn't asking, "Is this true?" It's asking, "Can I stop scanning now?" And a story, any story, lets it pause. Even briefly. A grounding moment. Pause here for a second. If this feels painfully familiar, please hear me. You are not broken. You are not weak. And you are not secretly obsessive. Your brain is doing exactly what it learned to do when something feels emotionally important and unresolved. Despite what you might have been told, this urge to interpret comes from a need for reassurance, not a need for control. Stage 4, drafting and redrafting. Now it's your turn to reply. And suddenly, nothing you write feels right. You type, delete, rewrite, you reread your message again and again. Does this sound too eager? Too distant? Too casual? Too invested? You imagine how they might read it, what tone they might assign to it, what meaning they might extract. You're no longer expressing yourself. You're managing emotional risk, because in Limerence, every message feels like it could tip the balance. And your body knows it. Your body isn't stupid. Stage 5. The send and spike. You hit send. For a brief moment, there's relief. Then the spike hits. Your chest tightens. Your stomach flips. Your phone becomes the most interesting object in the room. You check the time. You check your phone again. You replay what you sent. Your nervous system is waiting to see if connection is maintained. This isn't impatience, my dear. It's vigilance. Your body is monitoring for safety. Why the waiting feels so unbearable. Here's the part people rarely talk about. Waiting doesn't hurt because you want the person. Waiting hurts because your nervous system is suspended. It's holding tension without resolution. Your body doesn't know if it's safe to relax or if it needs to brace for loss, so it stays alert. That alertness is exhausting. Stage 6. Waiting becomes the main event. Minutes stretch. Silence feels loud. Your mind fills the space immediately. Are they busy? Are they losing interest? Did I say something wrong? Trust me, I've been there too. You replay the exchange like evidence in a trial. You remember past conversations. You imagine future ones. You mentally rehearse explanations. This is where Limerence tightens its grip. Not because you're attached to the text, but because you're attached to what the response represents. Reassurance, relief, validation, worth. Your nervous system is waiting for permission to stand down. A quiet reality. Check. Let me say this gently, babe. You are not waiting for a message. You're waiting for your nervous system to feel safe again. The text is just the trigger. The relief is what you're actually chasing. Stage 7. Meaning gets assigned. Eventually, they reply. Or they don't. Either way, your nervous system assigns meaning. A quick reply feels like relief. A delay feels like rejection. Your mood shifts instantly. This is the final stage. Not resolution, but reinforcement. Your body learns that texts equal safety or threat, and the cycle resets. Why this cycle is so hard to break? Because each loop teaches your body something. It teaches your body that connection is unpredictable, that reassurance comes in bursts, that safety has to be monitored. Over time, your system gets better at scanning and worse at resting. That's not a personal failure. That's conditioning. Why awareness already changes the pattern. You might be listening to this thinking, okay, but I still do all of this. That's normal. Awareness doesn't stop the behavior immediately. What it does is interrupt the automatic part of the loop. The moment you notice, oh, I'm assigning meaning again, your nervous system gets a fraction more space. That space matters. It's the difference between being inside the spiral and watching it happen. You don't need to climb out all at once. You just need to stop being completely inside it. That's where regulation begins. A gentle reminder. You're not obsessed with the message. You're responding to the emotional stakes you've attached to it. Texts feel powerful because they've become stand-ins for connection, reassurance, and worth. Honey, that doesn't make you weak. It means your system is sensitive to closeness and distance. What actually starts to shift the pattern? This isn't about forcing yourself to stop checking your phone. It's about noticing. Noticing when your body tightens. Noticing when meaning gets assigned too quickly. Noticing when a text becomes responsible for regulating something deeper. That noticing creates space. And space gives your nervous system room to settle. Not instantly, but gradually. If this episode felt uncomfortably accurate, you're not alone. Text message overthinking is one of the most common ways limerence shows up in daily life. If this resonated, please give the video a like so it can reach other people who are quietly spiraling over their phones and blaming themselves for it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more conversations like this, the kind that slow things down and help you understand what your nervous system is actually doing. And if you're comfortable sharing, tell me this: which stage do you usually get stuck in, and what does your body do in that moment? You don't have to explain everything, just what you're comfortable with. Sometimes just naming it out loud changes how heavy it feels. If someone came to mind while you were listening, someone who lives in their text messages more than they want to, feel free to share this with them. Big Sis has your back. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.